Your phone unlocks when you look at it. No password, no fingerprint, just your face, and somehow it works instantly, even in the dark, even with glasses, even when you get a haircut. So how does your phone actually recognize you? And more importantly, how does it know it's really you and not just a photo? The answer is far more advanced than most people realize. Let's break it down. First, here's the biggest misconception. Face ID does not work like a camera taking a picture of your face and comparing it to another picture. If that were true, a printed photo would unlock your phone. But it doesn't, because Face ID doesn't just see your face. It maps it in 3 dimensions. When you raise your phone, a group of tiny sensors near the top of the screen activates. You don't see them, but they're working immediately. One of these sensors projects thousands of invisible infrared dots into your face. These dots cover your forehead, your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, and your jawline. Each dot lands on a slightly different depth and angle. That depth information is the key. At the same time, an infrared camera captures how those dots reflect back. Because everyone's face has unique contours, the pattern that returns is different for every person. Your phone uses this data to build a detailed 3D depth map of your face, not a photo, a mathematical model. When you first set up Face ID, your phone stores this depth map securely inside a special part of the device called the Secure Enclave. This area is completely isolated from apps or from the operating system and even from Apple itself. Your face data never leaves your phone. It isn't uploaded. It isn't shared. It stays locked inside the device. Now here's where it gets impressive. Every time you try to unlock your phone, Face ID creates a new depth scan of your face. It then compares that scan to the one stored in the Secure Enclave. But it doesn't look for a perfect match. It looks for a close enough match across thousands of data points. That's why Face ID still works if you grow a beard, wear glasses, or change your hairstyle. The system learns over time. If Face ID sees a face that is consistently accepted, it updates its internal model slightly. That's how it adapts to gradual changes without compromising security. But sudden changes, like someone else holding your phone, won't match the depth map closely enough, so the phone stays locked. Now let's talk about the dark. Face ID doesn't need visible light. Because it uses infrared, it works just as well at night as it does during the day. The dots are invisible to your eyes, but perfectly visible to the infrared camera. That's why Face ID works even in a completely dark room. What about photos and videos? This is where depth matters again. A photo is flat, it has no real contours. So when infrared dots hit a photo, they don't reflect back correctly. The phone immediately knows there's no real depth. Even high-quality videos fail because they can't replicate the precise 3-dimensional structure of a real face. You might wonder about masks. When Face ID was first released, masks blocked too much of the face. So Apple updated the system. Modern Face ID can now focus more heavily on the upper portion of your face, especially around the eyes. It still uses depth, but it adjusts which features matter most. That's why it can work with a mask on without lowering security. Now let's address a common concern. Can Face ID be fooled by twins? Identical twins can sometimes unlock each other's phones, but it's rare. Face ID is designed to reduce this risk as much as possible, but no biometric system is perfect. That's why Face ID still requires a passcode occasionally, especially after restarts or failed attempts. Security is layered, not absolute. Here's something most people don't realize. Face ID isn't constantly scanning your face. It only activates when you wake the phone or try to unlock it. There's no background face tracking, no continuous surveillance, just a quick scan when needed. So why does Face ID feel so fast? Because most of the processing happens on the device itself. There's no server request, no internet delay. It's all local. The hardware, the sensors, and the neural engine are optimized to work together instantly. That's why unlocking feels almost immediate. So here's the simple version. Face ID works by projecting thousands of infrared dots onto your face, creating a detailed 3D depth map. That map is securely stored on your phone, never shared, never uploaded. Each time you unlock your device, a new scan is compared to the stored model. If the depth and structure match closely enough, your phone unlocks. No photos and no guessing, just math and depth. That's how Face ID actually works. In the next video, we'll explain how your phone removes background noise during calls. Thanks for watching.